Good morning, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Equality Cages 101: Introduction to Equality Cages. And this is by gUBBLOR. And thank you, gUBBLOR, for giving me permission to do the puzzle, because this is a puzzle I found myself. Story: I was sitting in a movie theater. Movie hadn't started yet. I definitely put my phone on Do Not Disturb and in my pocket when the movie is on. But I went to see the Marvels, and while I was waiting for, they hadn't even started the ad roll yet, I was scrolling through Sudoku recommendations over on the Cracking the Cryptic fan community Discord, and gUBBLOR had recommended this puzzle, his own puzzle. And I had a look at it, and I'd not heard of equality cages. And apparently, equality cages were originally introduced in a puzzle called Low Tide by Schwoople. And gUBBLOR wanted to make an introductory puzzle for that, and that sounded phenomenal to me. And it's gUBBLOR's first puzzle as well, which is something that I love. I love seeing where setters start. I've no idea on this one. Didn't even put this one through testing, so will this puzzle actually get seen? I don't know. I really hope so. The feedback, there were thumbs up on the puzzle, and this was posted to Logic Masters Germany, and the comments are that people really enjoyed it, and it's got a good rating. So I think this is going to be a good candidate for the channel, and it's going to go well. So thank you, gUBBLOR, for responding and everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Exploring new constraints with an introductory puzzle, I think, is something that should be done more. I was pushing for this. I remember when Entropic Lines came out. It was a couple of years ago now. They weren't, I don't know if they were new at the time, but the people who were working on developing a bunch of Entropic Line stuff, I turned around and said, make a puzzle that's like 1-star difficulty that just shows how they work, and then do another one, which I'll do the very next day, which is sort of a step up, which uses those the steps that people learnt, so that they could sort of chain those videos. I think at the time I was doing them as double videos. I was literally saying, here's like a 5-minute puzzle, and then we'll do the full puzzle for the day. But people don't like 2 puzzles in one video. Those videos, as soon as I put a second puzzle in one video, for some strange reason it tanks. But let's have a look at Equality Cages 101: Introduction to Equality Cages by gUBBLOR. So what are the rules? Normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Equality cages. Cages must have an equal number of low 1, 2, 3, 4 and high 6, 7, 8, 9 digits, and an equal number of even 2, 4, 6, 8 and odd 1, 3, 7, 9 digits. Equality cages can never contain a 5. This is a puzzle that makes me think, if this was a harder puzzle, I would like to have layers of highlighting. So rather than doing I've thought this for a while, rather than doing multi-stage coloring, where it's like I'm coloring for this and then I'm coloring for this, being able to say, I want to switch to my odd even coloring layer, and then I want to switch to my high low coloring layer, so I could flick between them, and even have a layer of coloring that when I turn around and say, you know what, I'm not using this coloring right now, I want to turn it off. And then it's like, hang on, I want to check my high-low coloring or whatever, turn that back on, because coloring messes with some people's scanning. You see it all the time when you see people video solve, where they will have highlighted colors all over the grid, and you could see their scanning get worse because of it. But the ability, and they're not using the coloring at that point, and the ability to turn the coloring off but still have it there in a layer that's hidden would be phenomenal. Anyway, Kropki dots. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio. So if a cell is separated by a black dot, then they contain 2-to-1 or 1-to-2 ratio, where one is double the other. White dot contains cells between cells, indicate cells with consecutive values. So and not all dots are shown. So Kropki pairs, with the added exception of there must be a consecutive value somewhere in the grid that it doesn't have a dot, and there must be a ratio value somewhere in the grid that doesn't have a dot. XV. Adjacent cells connected with an X must sum to 10. Adjacent cells connected by a V must sum to 5. Not all X's and V's are shown. So standard XV pairs, except there must be 2 cells somewhere that connect to 10, and there must be 2 cells somewhere that connect to 5 that are not shown. They're the rules. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. Okay, so it's going to start with these equality cages, and I'm not sure how to do this. So I know these are 2, 3, because the only way to make V is with 2, 3 or 1, 4. And I can't use 1, 4 because there is a 4 already here. And I could probably figure out this value, but I'm going to start here. So this is either 7 or 8. Actually, I'm not sure I can take it further. Maybe I do need to look at this because this is 7 or 8. Now I've got a low and an odd, low, odd, odd. So this is going to be high and it's going to be a different parity to what this is. But that's what I have. Now this is low and even. So this has to be high and odd. So it's 7 or 9 and it can't be 7. So this is 9. Now this must contain 2 high digits. Right, it must contain 2 high digits, but the only high digits available are 6 and 8, because it must contain an equal number of low and high digits. Now, there's 4 cells in the cage, so there must be 4 divided by 2 is 2, so there must be 2 low digits and 2 high digits. And the 2 high digits available, because you can never put 5 into a cage, the 2 high digits available are 6 and 8 because 7 and 9 are gone. So they are both even, so I need 2 odd low digits. So this is a 1, 3, 6, 8 cage. There you go. And these are 2 and 5, but the 2 is over here. So this becomes a 5 and this becomes a 2. This is cool because this being a 2 means this V now has to be 1, 4 because I can't put 2, 3 on the V because then I'd have 2 3s. So there's no 1 in here. Now, this now has 2 low digits, so it needs 2 high digits. But then again, that... Okay, I'm running out of steam, but that's okay. Now, any X is going to have a low and a high digit. I'm assuming there's lots of other places I can go. Like down here, this is going to be... These are 2 low digits. So these are 2 high digits. Right, okay, so let's do that. These are high digits... So I can immediately go 6, 7, 8, 9 on those because these are 2 low digits, so I need 2 high digits in the cage. But the nature of black dots is you can never put a high odd digit on a black dot. And the reason for that is the doubling effect. Because you are doing a double, 1 doubles to 2, 2 doubles to 4, 3 doubles to 6, 4 doubles to 8. So you're always doubling a low digit to get to an even digit. So there's no way digit I can double to get to a high odd digit, and any high odd digit would double outside the range of Sudoku digits. So 7 can't be doubled from anything because I don't have 3.5 to double to 7, and 7 doubled is 14, which is outside the range. So 5, 7, and 9 can never go on a black dot. So this can never be 7 or 9. This is 6 or 8, which means that this is 3 or 4. If this is 3, this is 2, and if it's 4, it's 1. So this is only 1 or 2. Now that doesn't give me the parity down here, but it means that this is even, this is an odd and an even, so this has to be odd, so it's 7 or 9. Because if this is 1, 4, I've got an odd and an even. If it's 2, 3, I've got an odd and an even. This is even, so this has to be odd. Now, that actually doesn't help me as much as I might think, because I do have to fit 5, 7, and 9 into those squares, but I can do that now. Now, this has got an odd and an even, so this has to be an odd and an even. And these have to be the same polarity. Now, we often use... So parity is odd, even. Polarity we often use for high, low. Trying to see... So there's a couple of important tricks here, which is, as I said, a black dot must contain a low and an even. So this is why I had a low and an even here. A white dot must contain an odd and an even, and because you can't use a 5. A 5 doesn't like count for both or anything, which would be an interesting complex variant on this. But you know that these are either both low or both high because I can't cross the boundary between the two. And X is going to have the same polarity. So these are either going to be both odd or both even, but they are going to be the different sides. So for example, 1 and 9 are both odd, but there is a low and a high. 2, 8, both even, low, high. So these are just the nature of these clues. So these are going to be the same polarity, but they're going to be same parity but different polarity. So these have to be the same parity but different polarity. But I'm not sure what that's getting me yet. Now, 1 in this cage, oh, here we go. I can't put 1 in this box because this has to be a high digit. So this is 6, 7, or 8 because I've got the 2 lows. So this is high. So where does the 1 go in this box? It's pointing down, which makes this the 2, which makes this the 3. The 3 here makes this the 6. Now, this doesn't resolve that at all because this just needs to be high and odd. But the 2 here does put a restriction on this because I can't use 1, 2, or 2, 4. So this is 3, 6, or 4, 8. And what can this be? Well, this is now forced because I can't use 1, 2. I can't use 2, 4 because the 2 is gone. I can't use 3, 6. So this is 4, 8, which looks up making this 7, which makes this 3, which makes this 2. This is not 7. Now the 4, 8 here, if this is 4, this couldn't be 3. It's already in the box, so it's 5. And if it's 8, it's 7 or 9. So this is 5, 7, or 9. Now this cell, maybe? It could be 1, 2. It can't be 3. And it can't actually be 1 either. So, but I'm just doing the column first. So it could be 1, 2. It can't be 3. Can't be 4. Could be 6. Can't be 8. Because remember, I can't use 5, 7, 9. So if this is 1, this would be 2, and that doesn't work. So this can't be 1. But 2 could go to 1. 2 can't go to 4. And 6 could go to 3. So this is only 1 or 3. So this is a low odd digit. Is it this? This is not a 3, 6 dot. Because then this would have to be 3 or 6, and it can't be. So this is from 1, 2, 4, 8, because it has to be 1, 2, 2, 4, or 4, 8. This is not the 2, so this is not the 1. There's probably a simple trick here I've missed. But that's what exploring a new constraint is about, isn't it? These are 1, 6, and 8, with 1 looking down, which puts 1 in one of those 2. So there, no, there doesn't have to be a 4 in here. This is either 2, 1, or there's a 4 in here. These could all be 3, 6. This run here, I think I could do some chaining in here, but it feels a bit weird. Oh, where's 5 in this row? That's important. You can never put 5 on an X because the other digit would be a 5. You can never put 5 on a black dot. You can never put 5 on a black dot. You can never put 5 in a cage, and you can never put 5 on a black dot. That's been a 5 since the beginning. So this can't be 8 now. It's 4, and this is 8. This is not 8. So that 4 takes 4 out of all of those. So these can't be 8 anymore because they have to go with 4. So this is 3, 6. So this is 3, 6, which means this is either 4 or 7. Now, this is almost certainly restricted. It could be 1, 9. It can't be 2, 8. It could be 3. Oh, it could be 1, 9 or 3, 7. No, it can't be 3, 7. The 3 is definitely in here. It could be 1, 9. It can't be 2, 8. It can't be 3, 7. It can't be 4, 6. This is 1, 9, which means that is 7. This is 8. This is 4. Now, this is odd, but I don't know whether it's high or low. But these are the same. These are different polarity, but same parity. This is odd. So same polarity, different parity. This is odd. This must have an odd on it. So this must be even. So that becomes 6. This becomes 3. This becomes 6. So if for people who don't understand that, there must be an odd and an even digit on the white dot. This is odd, so I've got the two odds in my 4-cell cage. The other digit had to be even, so if that was 3, I would have had 3 odd digits, and I would have broken the equality of the cage. Now, that was cool. 6 here, of course, makes this 4, which means this is either 2 or 8. Now, the 3 and the 6 look up, taking 3, 6 out of there. There's no 8 in there. There's no 6 in there. Now, this... Well, wait a minute. We know this is the same polarity because, as I said, it can't cross the 5 boundary. So it has to either be both low or both high. But this is a high digit. So this has to be the 9 and this being the 1. Because if this was low, I couldn't put in 2 digits of the same polarity. High, low. So these are now low. So they're from 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're not 1, so there must be a 3 in it because there must be an odd digit. And I could almost have got that by Sudoku. Now, there must be a low digit in here. So there's either a 3 there. I can't use 1 or 2. There's either a 3 there or a 4 there. But I'm not sure which yet. Now, as I said, this X keeps bugging me, but I don't see fully how to resolve it yet. This is cool. Oh, the 1, 4, of course, looks back saying that's not the 1, and this has been the 1, and that's been there for ages. Now, 3 is in here, 3 is there. So 3 is up here, but I can't put 3 on this dot. That's really cool. Like, oh, hang on. No, that is not true. 3 could be there. So that was absolutely wrong. Because I could put 3 there, and then 3 in one of those. So that was incorrect. 2, however, is definitely up here. And 2 there could work if that's 3, and then I put 3 down there. Damn. 4 is also up here by Sudoku. But 4 is not there. So 4 is... Oh, no, 4 is not there. This is just a 4 by Sudoku. Oh, is it this X? Now, this is low and odd. I need to put another low digit in this cage. And that is a little tricky. If this is 1, this becomes 2. And that would be a 3, because I couldn't put a 3. Or I could put a 4 in here. Actually, where is 4? 4 is in this cage. 4 is not here. 4 is not here. And then that 4 takes 4 out of there. There is a 4 in one of those two. So they're all the low digits. This has to be high. It's C6, so it's 7, 8, 9. So I've got 1 odd and 1 even in low. This is very strange. But very cool. I do oh, hang on. This 6 looks up making that the 8 and that the 6, which of course takes 8 out of there. These are 1, 3, 7, and 9. Yes, they are. So these are 1, 3, 7, 9, and that's not 3. Now in here, I need to, well, these are all odd. So these have to be even. So they're 4 and 8. This is just 4 and 8 because they have to be even to match the two odds, and 2 and 6 are not available. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 5 and 7, and there's a 5 there. So that's the 7 and that's the 5. The 7 comes out of there. 7 is in one of those two. This is a 1, 9 pair now, though. Which means where is 1 and 9 in this box? Because I can't put 1, 9 in any of those cells. So this is a 1, 9 pair. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 2 and 5, which takes 2 out of those. This becomes 3, 4. Now that was going to have an impact here, wasn't it? Yes, this can't be the low digit anymore. This has to be the high digit, and it sees 6, 7, and 9. So this is the 8. This has to be low, but it has to be 3. I'm glad it's odd, because it sees 1, 2, and 4. Possible. I get the feeling I could have used that cage to do something earlier, and I probably missed something. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The not 5 in cages is possibly something I should have explored more as well. We'll see how we go. Learning about constraints. I'm doing it. I did it my way, and that way was bad. Anyway, so I can see that 4 has to be in here. This X keeps bugging me. It's now these are high. I'm not sure if this is intro with a little bit more tricky Sudoku than an intro puzzle I feel should normally have, but maybe I'm just missing it. So up here, all of these have to have different polarity. So I need to put the two, right, I need to put the 2 even digits onto these dots. This is not that tricky at all. I just missed it. So I've got 4 and 8 in the row already. So I have to put an even digit onto each of these dots. This is odd, so it's not 2. This becomes the 2. This now has to be 1 or 3, but I can't put a 1 there because of the 1, 4. So this becomes the 3. That looks down, making that the 4 and that the 3. The 4 looks up, making that the 1 and that the 4. Now, the odd digit that is on here is 6. And I can't you put 6 with 7, so this is 5 and 6. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 1, 2. Oh, the 3 makes this 8, right. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This becomes 9. The 2 looks down, taking 2 out of there. Right. And this right here just has to be a 9, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this 8, of course, takes 8 out of those 2, and this becomes the 1, and I take 1 out of those. This becomes a 3, 6. The 1 looks down, making that the 9 and that the 1. Maybe, I don't think I was right about the Sudoku difficulty. I was just being blind. Now, this cage has 2 low digits. This has to be high, but I've got 2 odd, so it has to be high and even. So it has to be 6 or 8, and it sees a 6. So this becomes the 8. These now are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 5 and 7. There's a 7 here looking up, making that the 5. That becomes the 7. The 5 looks down, making that the 2, and that the 5. Yeah, this is cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 and 7 go into those. This can't, you can never put a 5 into a cage. So that's the 7, that's the 5. Now, this is now a bit more restricted because this must have a high digit on it, and that high digit must be even. So these must both be even. So they're either 2, 8, or 4, 6, and they're not 4, 6 because 4 is not available. So this becomes a 2, 8 pair. The 8 looks up, making that the 2 and that the 8. This has to be a low odd, so it's 1 or 3, and it's 1 or 3. The 8 here makes this 4 and this 8. The 7 here makes this 9. There's no 9 here, there's no 9 here. So this becomes the 1, this becomes the 9. The 1 comes out of both of those, which makes that the 3. Hit the right button. 3, of course, on the black dot makes this 6 and makes this 7. These are now 1 and 2 because I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. This is a triple. Well, the 4 here looks over taking 4 out of there and making that a 4. But this is a triple, which is 1, 7, and 9. There is no 1 there. There's no 7 or 9 there. That's the 1. And the 9 looks down, making that the 7 and that the 9. The 7 looks down, making that the 5, which makes that the 2, which makes that the 7. The 5 looks up, making that the 6 and that the 5. This 8 looks down, making that the 2. This column is just missing a single digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This box is now missing 6 and 8. The 8 here looks over, making that the 6 and that the 8. Assuming I haven't made terrible blunders. The 2 looks back, making this 1 and this 2. This 2. This has to be 1 and 3 for the row, but there's a 1 in row 9. So that's the 3, that's the 1. The 3 looks up, making that the 6 and that the 3. This box has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's missing 6 and 9. And I'll use that 6 to make that the 9 and that the 6. And that is the correct solution. 905 solves in 12.2 days. That is perfectly reasonable for an Equality Cages 101 Introduction to Equality Cages puzzle. gUBBLOR, that is a really nice introduction. As a first puzzle, well done. That is really cool. And it does, what I like about this is it teaches the equality cage concept without someone having to go, how do I need to color odd? Do I need to color even? Do I need to flick between the two? Now, a really hard equality cage puzzle, I don't know that I could do, because I imagine it'd come down to multiple levels of coloring or something, so you could figure out how many odds, how many evens, how many highs, how many lows do I have. And the minute I get a grid with that much coloring, oh, and I'm not unique in this, a lot of people's vision starts to tessellate. If you've got any form of astigmatism, or if you have any form of color blindness, which affects a lot of people, and even if you pick different colors and you pick colors that work for you and you adjust the color palette, which you can do in Sudoku Pad, by the way, a phenomenal feature. Um, Having sort of those slanted things and just boxed grids and everything, motion is fine because you can see the motion, but just a steady block of color really just starts to block out everything, and particularly pencil marks become invisible for me very, very quickly. But that was very cool. That was absolutely stunning. But yeah, the ability to say, okay, I want to turn on and see if there's anything going on with odds and evens, and I focus on color. And when I've got all of that, I could then, sort of try and put in the odd even information and then turn that coloring off temporarily and have layers of coloring would be stunning. But that's a huge amount of work, and I'm not going to ask Finn to do that. But it would be a cool solving tool for some of the really complex puzzles that I've abandoned, because I could not do the, you know, first of all, you color odd. I get solve guides all the time that say, first of all, you color this section, for this, and then you color this section for this. And in the solve guide, I will see some cells colored 5 different colors because they're interacting with different rules and stuff. It's like, no, to me, that is just a blur. It's like, anyway, thank you for that, gUBBLOR. That was a great puzzle. Thank you to Shruple for coming up for the constraint. Coming up with a new constraint is that actually sort of has logical fun to it. It is really tricky. I've come up with a few constraints, and most of them were terrible, and a lot of them people hate. So that's the way it goes. This is not one that I think people will hate. I think this is a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the puzzle. I hope we can get that solve count way higher. That's what matters, and as always, good luck with your solving.